All right, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of For the Love of Writing. Um, I'm very excited for this one, as always, but this is a very special guest. You are the third person from My Bloody Valentine to be on here. I'm trying to get everybody. This is Cassandra O'Sullivan Sachar. I am very happy to have you on.
Happy to
Yeah.
be here.
And as I always do, it's for anybody who watches this. I'm gonna ask you the two questions, and then we kind of go from there. The questions are: How old were you when you started writing, and what got you into it?
All right. So I started writing before I could write, which sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true because when I was not quite 3 years old, so my birthday is in November, and so there's a very, very important holiday that happens very close to my birthday, which was, of course, Halloween. And my first piece of writing that I ever did before I was literate was a little book called Cat's Halloween. And my mom wrote down the words that I dictated to her, and I drew the pictures, which of course look ridiculous, but very cute because I was not quite 3 years old. And so I was always interested in telling stories. My parents both encouraged it very much. I mean, my mom dictating my words with that and lots of other stories. My dad telling me all of these Greek myths and whatnot that he and Thousand and One Arabian Nights that he had committed to memory. I always had books in my house. I always spent time in the library. And so reading was just deeply ingrained into me. And from there, I had that desire to create my own work. So that was my answer to the first question. And I already forgot the second question. Whoops, I got tied up in memory lane. What was the second question?
The first question was how old were you, and the second question is what got you into it?
So, what got me into writing or specifically horror? Or
Both.
Okay. So again, I think that I am just one of those people. I always had the desire to tell stories. And so once I gained literacy skills, finally, I was pretty young. My mom was an elementary teacher, and so she taught my older sibling and my sibling right after me to read at a very young age. Then there were more siblings, but there were so many kids, I don't think that she had enough time to do as much with them with literacy skills. But I always had it in me that I was writing stories. I can remember using an old school typewriter. I used my Apple IIe computer, my parents' Apple IIe computer in the 80s when I was a little kid. And I had this push that I wanted to create. Now, something that happened to me that I'm sure happened to many others as well is that I would be very into an idea and excited to write, and then I would run out of steam. And instead of pushing through it, I would put it aside. And so it took quite a while until I actually started sticking with the story and finishing what I started. And the way I am now, I do abandon some projects, but not usually. Usually, I will push through to get to the end, get that rough draft out into the world, not into the world, but get that rough draft out there. And then I'm very meticulous about going back and revising and making it better. But for me, the hardest part of writing is that first draft, the generating of fresh words. And so I'm currently working on something today that is fresh and it is difficult, but I know that when I get finished with it, that's when the real excitement comes for me. And I go back in and try to make it good. Um, Specifically horror, I mean, geez, the very first one that I wrote was a little bit horror, not too scary at not quite three. Cat's Halloween, but Halloween focus and with a cat in a ghost outfit. And I forget the details because it was a little while ago. I still have that somewhere in my house in the basement in a trunk. But I love Halloween. I think that my love for horror started with Halloween. My mother loved Halloween but doesn't love horror. So I think I started with more of a cutesy dressing up candy, pumpkin Halloween and found my way to the darker and creepier things. One book series I remember reading when I was a kid was called Tales from the Midnight Hour. Now, I'm a lot older than you, so I don't know if you read that one, but you were probably more of a Goosebumps guy, I'm
Yeah,
guessing. Yeah.
yeah,
So
goosebumps all the way.
Goosebumps came out when I was a little too old for it. My younger siblings were into it, but for me it was more like, I still read a number of them. But I got
My
into reading.
Not to interrupt you, my my wife just came home, and when you were talking about that the other one that I haven't read, she just whispered, "I've read both."
Oh, yes. Well, I can't remember any individual stories. I can almost picture the cover of one, but I can remember as a kid reading those stories and getting so freaked out. I was reading in bed, but then I got up and I took the book and I put it downstairs because I didn't feel comfortable going to sleep with that book in my room. And
Oh,
I sort of love that because just this idea that something so sinister can be locked inside these pages. And I don't know, I think that's fun. So I've just from there, I almost exclusively read horror if it's not something that I'm reading for one of my classes. And I just love it. I almost exclusively watch horror movies when I'm watching movies.
yep.
Just for me, it's my comfort and it's a lot of fun. And I think that there's so much different stuff that writers and creators can do with horror. And you can make it sad, you can make it terrifying, you can make it funny. And I love playing around with all of that in a short story collection.
That was I love it. You are what was it? You're a writing professor?
Yes, I teach creative writing, composition, literature classes. Basically, everything, just about everything is an essay or a short story.
You are you partaking in Matt Forget's final girl essay thing or no?
I don't know anything about it. I
Oh, okay.
met at my Bloody Valentine, but I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it. And now I'm having FOMO. What is this all about?
Oh, it ends. We gotta have all the essays handed in by April 14th. Um, I mean, you could reach out to him, mate, because I feel like you're really quick at writing. You must be for being
I
a writing professor.
Well, I'm a writing professor, so that means that I'm always juggling a lot of
Yeah,
different things. So
it's
I don't always get to focus on my own writing
yeah,
because I'm writing feedback so much of the time and writing letters of recommendation and crafting emails and whatnot. And so my own writing sometimes gets put on the back burner. But I told my students they turn in for my horror writing class, they turned in short stories yesterday, and I told them. I'm not going to grade these this weekend. I said, I'm not getting started. And I said, because I'm your creative writing professor and I need to write creatively for myself. And they were fine with that. Nobody was mad because they get
yeah,
it. I have to do that. I can't just be somebody who tells other people to write. I need to write for myself too.
yeah. This
So,
this final girl thing is kind of like Sidney Prescott and Scream.
well, you see what I'm wearing?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. I love that hoodie. I picked Aaron Harson from Your Next. But yeah, it's this final girl essay, and I love it. My wife's doing it too.
Oh, cool.
She picked I Spit on Your Grave, which was a little more traumatizing, but
Mhm.
her
Yeah,
and her and I have both watched both those movies in the past couple weeks. Just watched them a few times each, and we've written our essays. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, while I was writing this stuff, I thought about you because I was like, I should reach out to her to have her on the podcast next. And I absolutely, you and Jeff were two of the people that really stuck out to me the most at Bloody Valentine. Not just because you guys were sitting next to me, but you guys just the advice you guys gave me has really stuck with me. And thank you for that.
of course.
And
I
I keep
I
trying to get,
honestly
yeah,
I something about me is that I really, really love talking to other writers. I love giving tips. I mean, I really just I am here to help inspire other writers, to help push them, and just to keep going and try out some different things because writing is for everybody. And
Yeah.
so often the biggest thing that gets in our way as writers is ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And people, when you say, "Oh, well, I don't have time because of this and this," and it's like, well, you have time to watch that show, you have time
Yeah.
to play that video game, you have time to do this. Guess what? You have time to write.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't believe in strict writing goals and pushing yourself no matter what. I like to give some grace because, again, we all have different responsibilities. But I do believe that we can take a pocket of time that we have. There's sometimes something that gets in my way is that I'm like, oh, well, I need to do this. But I have 20 minutes right now, and I can use that 20 minutes to maybe get 100 or a couple hundred words
Yeah.
in to my project. And so, no, I don't always have 5 hours in a row. I very rarely have that much time to sit down and get into something, but take the 20 minutes here and there, build something. And I'm all about writing myself little notes about where I'm going next, just as a reminder, like, hey, okay, I had to stop. Here's what I was trying to do. And just before this, I walked the dog. But before I walked the dog, I was writing and I gave myself a note because I had a great idea, but I knew I needed to go walk the dog. So when I pick it back up, guess what?
Yeah.
I know where to go. And I don't waste that time thinking, oh, wait, where was I? Let me get back into my head.
I love it.
So, yeah,
I love it. I love the whole because people don't realize like you can make time. If you
yeah,
really want to do something, you will find the time to do it. Even,
absolutely.
even if it's been a long day and it's 11 o'clock at night and you gotta be asleep by 12, you
Hmm.
could write from 11 to 12.
Yeah.
Make a pot of coffee and sit there in front of the laptop. It's how we do it sometimes.
And the same, so part of my background, again, I'm a writing professor, but part of that
Yeah.
is very much composition. And so my doctorate is actually in literacy. And so I've done a lot of academic writing too. And the same goes for that. I was just a little fancy and I was at the University of Vienna presenting a workshop to grad students, and they're doing academic writing. And the same thing is true. You can't have 5 hours necessarily to work on something, but make it part of a routine. If you care about the writing and want to get it done, write this now. Don't worry about making it all perfect and correct. Get your ideas out. Do something. Chip away at the problem. I have a goal for myself today, which is to finish this little short story that I just started yesterday morning, but it's not really going to be finished. I just want to get to the end of my rough draft. I want it to have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yep.
I have ideas, I have characters, and it's very rough. I already cut out a couple hundred words that I wrote, and it's only at about 1,300 words. But I'm trying not to get bogged down in the details because that's where I stall. I would rather push, get that story written,
Yeah.
messy as it might be, and then I will go back and try to beautify and or horrify elements of it.
Oh yeah. Now the one of the questions I love asking people because anybody that watches it, I found a lot of people that watch this will actually be like, "Oh, I read so and so's book. I loved it. Thanks for having them on." And it's like, "Oh, wow. Um, you had quite a lot of books at Bloody Valentine. Tell me about them."
Well, I'll start with the ones that are right in the background here. So we'll start with that one. Close the Door. Close the Door is a psychological horror novella. It's, if you want to say a novel, novella, it's right about 38,000 words, so more in the novella category. And it's a fast read. And I will say it is, without giving too much away, it is a possession story, but there are no priests, no demons.
Oh,
I
wow.
Love possession stories, but something that I like to do when I get involved in a project is to really just try to put my head in the game, even when I'm not actively writing. So I'm reading possession novels, I'm watching possession movies, and I'm just trying to see what has been done already. So I cannot be inspired by it per se, but more so I can see what's out there and do something different. And
Okay.
so for me, I watched movie after movie and everything. Some of them were really good.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, I have seen this movie before. Not really. So I am somebody who's very interested in horror tropes, but also how can writers transcend them? And that's actually part of the horror class that I teach is about having fun with tropes, but adding our own special flair. So it's not the movie. Oh, I closed the door, but the dog has managed to come in. He wanted to come say hello. Don't know if he made it into the frame, but he's right next to
We've
me.
got another special guest. What's his name?
His name is Gus.
Gus.
The
I love it.
yeah, the cat Basil was here earlier, but I don't know where he went. So, and probably somebody else is going to come later. Oh, and I also have this little friend who's sitting right by me. I really
Oh,
do love
cool.
Ghostface Killer. Ghostface Killer is my favorite. But anyway, back to Close the Door. So
Yep.
in this novella, the main character Natalie is a single mom and she's had a rough time, and so she ends up she runs for exercise, but she hurts her foot. And she ends up going to a yoga class where she accidentally opens a door that she should not have opened. So I will just say she should close that door. So
Okay.
next up is Lake of Secrets. This is more, oh, I found the cat. He showed up. Lake of Secrets is a young adult paranormal mystery. Here's the cat. This
Oh.
I like I have several black and white pets, so he's one of them. The dog is black. But Lake of Secrets is a paranormal mystery that has elements of historical fiction. It's about a girl who's about to get into her senior year of high school. Her name is Callie, and she gets kind of shipped off to the country to stay for the summer with an elderly aunt. And while she's there, it's very boring for a high school senior. She wants to be with her friends, back doing what she's doing. But while she's there, she stumbles upon a mystery that took place in the 1940s where a pregnant teenager supposedly committed suicide. And she thinks, this isn't right. Something doesn't add up. So the story is very much about her trying to solve this mystery. And it's an opportunity for dealing with some of her own issues as well. So that is Lake of
Okay.
Secrets. Next up, I'll say Darkness There, but something more. You can't see the poster of it. I'm looking at it right now. That was my first published novel, not the first novel that I wrote, but my first published novel. And that one is not horror, but it's more horror adjacent, dark suspense. So my main character in that, Marissa Owens, is a college professor and Edgar Allan Poe scholar who's been through some difficulties, and she takes a new job at the university where she attended as a student, Blackthorn University. And things are going better for her, but then one of her students goes missing and turns up dead. She gets pulled into the mystery and starts thinking about, because of her closeness to the student, and she starts thinking about some things that happened when she was in college. And there's a dual timeline, one timeline in the present when she's a professor, one timeline in the late 90s when she was a college student. And in both timelines, there's darkness there. But like the line from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, well, unlike it, because for that it's and nothing more, but for Marissa, there's something more. So that's that one. And then
Okay.
I have two short horror story collections, Keeper of Corpses and Other Dark Tales, and Prepare the Coffin, Tales of the Macabre. And both of them have a whole combination, whole variety of different types of horror. Horror comedy, cursed objects, body horror, stories that are revenge killings, stories where there are good people making terrible decisions that spin out of control. That's a trope that I enjoy, but also bad people getting what's coming to them. And so there's just so much that I've packed into those pages. And several of both stories, actually everything in Prepare the Coffin, and many of the stories in Keeper of Corpses have to do with the same fictional town, which is also where I have Close the Door and Darkness There. It's Blackthorn, Pennsylvania. So I'm a Pennsylvania writer, grew up in Pennsylvania, moved back to Pennsylvania after some time in Delaware, and I just think that Pennsylvania is a great place for horror. And then I have one more. I think that's everything, not counting the anthologies that are other writers. Um, the last one is a middle grade book. It's also a paranormal mystery, similar to Lake of Secrets, except this is for a little bit younger readers, so age range would be about 8 through 14. And this one is about a girl who moves into a house with her mom and her little brother. Recently, her parents got divorced, and she stumbles upon a diary, a hidden diary, hence the title. And she's reading this diary from this other 12-year-old girl, and she realizes that nobody knows what happened to that family way back in the 1970s. And so she is trying to figure out what happened to the McCullens. So in a quick nutshell, those were my books.
I
Not,
love it.
yeah,
You also have one with, I think you mentioned it. You have one that you and Basu Tedessa are in.
yes. And I don't have that right here. Darn it. That one's called, because you know what? I took it when I went to AuthorCon last month, or I guess
Yeah.
not last, end of February. I took that with me because I knew there were some authors there whose signatures I needed. And so it's not over there. But that one is called Dark and Dreary. I curated and edited this. It's a basement horror anthology. So that one was a lot of fun to find different writers who contributed stories, and then I gave them feedback. And anyway, it was just a really fun collection because I was worried, is everybody's story going to be too similar? And no, they really were not. People had all kinds of different basement horror. And
Oh, cool.
what made it fun also is that out of the 20 writers of that book, I think 10 of them came to Scranton, PA for the launch party that we did at Friendly Alien Bookstore. And it was a lot of fun. The different writers read their works, and it was great. And so I'm currently I have an open call for submissions for Sinister Soiree, a celebration horror anthology. And I very much am planning to do a similar launch party. This past one, I was not in charge of. One of the writers had the idea to do it, but I've already decided after that was so much fun gathering the writers together and hearing them read their works and sharing with each other and signing each other's books. It's just such a great time that I have to do it again. So
So
that's
you're doing another anthology thing?
I am. Yeah.
Can I be part of this?
Well, you may certainly submit. I can't make any promises, but I would love
I will definitely submit. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I'll send you the call for submissions. But
Okay.
again, it's open right now. It's open until May 15th.
Okay.
And my semester non-coincidentally ends right about then.
Okay.
And so I will make it my mission to get through all of the submissions and send responses between May 20th and May 31st.
Okay.
And then the plan is publication in September.
Oh
So it's
wow.
going to be quick, quick, quick.
Oh yeah.
Just going to devote myself. I won't have any more papers to grade when the semester's over, so I will devote myself to editing this book.
Nice. I love how everybody I bring on here, including myself, we're all working on multiple things. Like I'm working on a
Yeah,
collaboration novel right now with another author from Ohio.
I saw that.
And I'm working on once I finish today actually, but right before I got on here with you, I was doing the final girl essay, finishing that up. Now I gotta go through and edit it. And
Mhm.
then I gotta get back to the this other novel called Sisters that him and I are working on. Then I'm working on a collection of short stories I'm trying to put out at the end of this year.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
then
project.
and then next year the collection of short stories is like halfway done.
Mhm.
And then I'm doing book two of my Sleepless series that I'm working on
Wow.
next year. Oh, I can't wait to release that.
Well, I my preferred method is to really just focus on one thing at a time,
Yeah.
but my job does not allow me to do that. So I do have a couple of different things going on right now. I am in the end stages of this um, academic collection of essays
Yeah.
uh, that's getting published through McFarlane and Company. I'm the editor of that. And so there are 13, no, I'm forgetting off the top of my head, 11 different scholars whose works are going to be in that. And we just changed the title. What is the title of it? Dissecting Body Horror. Essays on Violation and Meaning. And so that has been in the works for a long time. I put out the call for submissions for that for proposal submissions over a year ago. And then it was okay, then the writers had time to write the essay. And then I had to put it through peer review. It
Yep.
was long and complicated, but I'm hoping to get a publication date for that soon. So
Good.
that is finishing up. I'm also the co-editor and creative prose editor of a literary journal called Pennsylvania English. So again, I'm working on the final stages of getting that live. I'm working on an academic essay about actually Cassandra in horror, going back to the Greek myth of the originator of my name. And I just think that there's a lot of fun that's been done with Cassandra because this name is often given to characters who have a lot of tragedy and drama. And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, how did I end up with this name? But here it is, and I'm having fun with it. And I'm going to be presenting a talk on it at StokerCon at the Anne Radcliffe Academic Conference. That's my horror scholar side. I'm always writing some sort of short story, and my thing with short stories is that I love short stories. It's a short-term commitment. I like to try to get them published in other places, but eventually I will put them all together in a collection, and that's how I came up with two horror short story collections so far. But it's just, yeah, it's a lot. I am on sabbatical next spring, which means that I get to write like it's my job because I'll have a break
Oh,
from.
sweet.
And so I don't see myself starting another novel until then. Because when it comes to
Yeah.
novels, I really like to keep myself in the zone and I don't like to go so long without writing. So really, writing a novel during the semester is not realistic for me, but writing a short story that I can handle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've been on I think I've been on your website. Because I saw you have a ton of dates for your book tours, which I love that you do that.
I wouldn't say it's a book tour, but signing. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
number. I've really put myself out there in the last couple of years to go to signings and conventions and whatnot. And honestly, I mean, because now you've experienced that. It's a wonderful place to meet other writers,
Yep.
to readers, and I really do enjoy that face-to-face interaction with potential readers and just getting to talk about books and horror and
Oh yeah.
writing. I love it. I think it's
Are you gonna be at Thrills and Chills?
so currently no, because I had
Oh.
a conflict.
Oh,
However,
okay.
it seems that maybe my conflict has dissipated. And so I need to check in with my husband about that for certain. But I might have to reach out to Devin and see if there's space for me because
Yeah.
as I'm seeing those author announcements, I'm like, oh man. And
What about Fright Reads?
so I will be at halfway to Halloween, but I do have a conflict,
Okay.
unfortunately, for Fright Reads. Last year it was in September, and so that timing was working out for me. But are you going to halfway to Halloween?
I am not only because this is the first time hearing
Okay.
about that.
Well, look into it. Get in touch. Harry Carpenter is the guy who does Fright Reads.
Okay.
And Halfway to Halloween is happening in May. Let's see. I'm looking at April. That's why. Okay. Halfway to Halloween, it looks like is May 9th. Yeah. And so that's it run by the same crew.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, reach out to him, see if he's
I
still.
might be able to.
It's the day before Mother's Day, but it's not Mother's Day.
Yeah, I might be able to get to that one. I'll have to see. I hope so. I hope I can.
Yeah.
If not, I'll be at Thrills and Chills and Fright Reads.
I
Um,
I'm going to try for Thrills and Chills. We'll see.
I hope to see you there. I do.
I hope so too.
Um, but so your stuff's on Amazon, right?
It's all on Amazon. In fact, let me grab my books real quick. All except for, looks like I don't have Dark and Dreary or Wicked Universe here, but here's my little chapbook slash a safari. That one's a lot of fun. Here's Close the Door, The Hidden Diary. That's for my younger readers. Darkness There, the one that made me a published novelist. Lake of Secrets. I just love all these beautiful covers. Here's my little Christmas one. It crept from the stocking for Christmas Tales. Prepare the Coffin, Tales of the Macabre with the fabulous Lady Death on the front. Keeper of Corpses and Other Dark Tales, The Disembodied Hand, always, always fun. Oh, and I do have Wicked Universe. Wicked Universe is one of my anthologies that I curated and edited, but I do not have Dark and Dreary here because it is still in a bin from when I was getting it signed. But
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love all those covers. I thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed talking to you.
enjoyed talking to you too, and I really do hope I get to see you at some future event.
Oh,
And
you will. Don't worry, you will.
I will be looking into Thrills and Chills because I really, really wanted to go, and then it seemed that something couldn't be moved,
Yeah.
but it looks like maybe it now can because a few things have changed. So
I will definitely be buying
cross my
close.
fingers.
I'll be buying Close the Door soon. And if I see you at an event soon, I want to trade off some books if you're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, that
Sweet.
sounds wonderful.
Sweet.
All right.
Well, I loved having you on. Thank you again very much. I love talking to you. This is a lot of fun, and I would love to have you on again soon.
That would
Once
be wonderful.
once your next book comes out, and I hope to see you at Thrills and Chills, and I'll try to make it to halfway to Halloween.
That would be great. And I will follow up by sending you my call for submissions. So maybe you can think about writing
Yes. Thank
celebrate
you.
or
Thank
all
you.
right. Thanks, Rob.
Absolutely. You have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.